For decades, he's been celebrated for his politically charged music and poetry, which very rarely shies away from controversial issues.
Benjamin Zephaniah thought he'd have mellowed as he approaches his 60th birthday. Really? Good morning.
Looks
Yes,
good.
Benjamin.
You look
The big
good.
60.
Is it just around the corner?
Yes, yeah. In April. That's not very far away, is it?
And you're not worried about it?
Not really. It's a strange figure. I always tell kids when I'm in school that I'm closer to 100 than I am to 1.
Well, that's true.
That makes you sound really old, doesn't it? You don't look really old, but it makes it sound really old.
Well, I think I love my exercise. I love my martial arts. I love being a vegan, and I think that keeps me going.
I mean, it's true that people change with age, don't they? Maybe your views change a bit and whatever, but as you started writing, did you feel yourself returning to kind of familiar themes? Is that what happened?
Actually, no, I think it happened the other way around. I realised I was still feeling really angry about things and that I had to say something. I'm really lucky in that I'm a musician, I'm a poet, I'm a playwright, and so sometimes I feel the need to say something and I can almost choose my medium. And now I think the time has come to do an album.
Well, let's show our viewers what you're saying with this album. Here's a small sample of it.
The president a mash up the resident. The president a mash up the resident. So plenty resident, young dissident. Cause plenty resident, just innocent. The president a mash up the people. The president a mash up the youth. All the king's horses and all the king's men, them a mash up the truth.
Having listened to your album, one of the emotions I felt from it, that I felt I was receiving from you, was one of disappointment. One that there have been promises of change and promises that people who are upset, who feel they haven't been heard, perhaps had been heard, but then those promises weren't fulfilled. Is that fair?
It's so interesting that you picked up on that. I was protesting in the 80s against racism, homophobia, xenophobia, and lots of other things. And I really thought, kind of after the 90s, mid-90s, I thought, things are going to get better now. You know what I mean? I'm going to sit back and I'm going to turn into a Rastafarian comedian. I'm just going to have fun with my words. And then it got really serious. And I think, I mean, the reason why the album is called Revolutionary Minds is because I just feel we need a revolutionary approach to politics. It doesn't necessarily mean taking to the streets, although sometimes it may mean taking to the streets. But what I mean by revolutionary minds, I mean thinking differently. I just think a lot of the old ways of approaching politics, you know, the left and the right, the socialism, the communism, is kind of gone. We need to find a new way of doing things, and it probably hasn't even got a name yet.
Now, there's a track, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, which is the track title is I Am a Revolutionary.
Yeah.
And the beginning of that, if I remember rightly, you mentioned the BBC and you say, I appear on BBC on Question Time and things like that, but I am a revolutionary.
I am a revolutionary,
Now, is there a bit of a struggle with almost becoming mainstream because you have a voice and people want to hear you and you put on those things, and maintaining what you are inside, which is someone who says things that matter to you and you're not necessarily going along with what people think?
Well, I was going to say sometimes it's difficult. It's not difficult. You just have to keep your integrity. But sometimes people say, you know, you're part of the establishment now. And I think, well, I'm not part of the political establishment. I may be part of the cultural establishment because I've had some success. I can't go to the bookshop or the record shop and say, please don't sell more of my books. You know, this is not a good thing. This will do my reputation bad. The thing is that I've kept to my guns. I am still a revolutionary. The interesting thing about that track is, it's the one track that I didn't really write. It was from a proper interview. And the producer, Corinne Pennington, he just sampled it and then put it on the beat. And then we got Logic, the rapper, to kind of rap over it. So it wasn't actually planned. That is a real interview. And he wanted to capture me just being natural, and he just nicked it.
What do you hope people will get from this album?
I would like people to open their minds. I campaigned years ago, not campaigned, but I spoke a long time ago about giving people a voice, you know, so that politicians could hear the voice of the people. And I think sometimes people waste that opportunity. If you look at a lot of what he said on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, I think now change has got to come from the bottom up. there is something going on all over the world which really mainstream media is just not capturing. And it's happening in streets, it's happening in protest movements all over the world. Again, it doesn't have a name, but a lot of people are angry and they want real change. And so I just try to encourage people to kind of voice their opinions and be heard and think outside. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but think outside the box.
Benjamin Zephaniah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine.
And Benjamin's album is called Revolutionary Minds. And if we don't see you, happy 60th birthday for April.
No, I'll
Have
be
a big
back.
party. You'll be back.